What's up, guys? It's Eric from Rare Candy, and today we're back with another entry in the Battle on a Budget. Our first entry since Sun and Moon has come out, but this is where we take a look at more budget-friendly options that don't require some of the expensive staple cards that some of the other popular decks do. So for this one, we're actually taking a look at one of my personal favorite cards from Sun and Moon. That's going to be Dragonite. And when I say personal favorite, I don't mean that favorite as in best. I just really enjoy this Dragonite card as a card. It's a stage 2. We get to use rare candy, so I'm always excited to be able to play a deck that uses rare candy, of course. But yeah, so let's take a look at this deck and what it's all about. So the main attacker is going to be Dragonite. So like I said, new stage 2 Pokemon from Sun and Moon. Has this attack Dragon Wave. That's really what we're using this for a Grass and Lightning energy, or just one double Dragon energy. You do 130 damage and you discard a Grass and Lightning from this Pokemon. So this is pretty cool because even though this is a stage 2 attacker, and it takes up all this deck space, and its energy cost is multiple energies, and it's not taking one hit knockouts, it's still only a single attachment because we can use double Dragon energy to pay for both energies. So basically just one attachment to do 130 is pretty strong, actually. Look at something like an Yveltal EX, for example. It needs 3 energies to do 100, maybe 120 damage, depending on how much energy is on your opponent. So and that's one of the best attackers in the game. So 130 for just one attachment is super solid. So that's why we're playing this guy. Has 160 hit points, which is great actually for a non-EX or non-GX card. But some of its other stats are a little concerning. It does have a 4 retreat cost, which is unfortunate. But we do run some float stones in here. But even still, we want to attack with Dragonite. He's our main attacker. So very few instances where we actually want to retreat. And then it's also weak to Fairy, which can be problematic because Mega Gardevoir at the time of filming is still a very popular deck. It remains to be seen if Sun and Moon will change that or not. But as of right now, that is a very popular deck, and Mega Gardevoir can easily one-shot Dragonite. So those stats are a little bit concerning, but nevertheless, it's a solid card. And we're actually going to take a look at its pre-evolutions as well. A lot of times these aren't relevant, but both forms are actually pretty decent. Mainly the Dratini here. And we're going to be looking at this for signs of evolution. For a grass energy, you search your deck for a Dratini, Dragonair, and Dragonite, reveal them, and put them into your hand. So this is actually a great attack if you go second. On your first turn, you can do signs of evolution, and grab an entire evolution line. So definitely a really strong consistency booster. It's always good whenever, your basic forms have attacks like this instead of just your vanilla, 1 energy for 10 damage type of thing. So definitely a strong attack on Dratini. And Dragonair is also pretty decent as well. It has this attack Dragon's Wish. During your next turn, you may attach any number of energy cards from your hand to your Pokemon. This deck honestly doesn't play that many energy, but there can be times where this is useful. Maybe if you build a more energy heavy version of this Dragonite deck, this could be better. But for our version, we really just want a single attachment at a time. But nevertheless, it can be a relevant attack at some points. So yeah, we have a 4-2-4 Dragonite line. The other main part of the engine is going to be a 2-2 Octillery. So we are playing this Remoraid, the one that lets you discard a Stadium card and play. You can play the other one. I don't know if it matters too much, but I opted for this one. And then we also play, like I said, 2 Sushi Master, as Dark Integral Gaming would say. So we're playing Octillery, has that ability Abyssal Hand. Once during your turn, you may draw until you have 5 cards in your hand. So originally when I started building a deck around Dragonite, I actually had Shaman in the list, no Octilleries. But I found that there was a lot of times in the game where you needed to not only play a supporter to hit a double Dragon energy, but you also wanted to Lysander, play Hex Maniac, and kind of some of these other non-draw based supporters. So that's where Octillery kind of came in. I originally didn't want him in here just because he does take up a decent amount of space, but it helps you be able to do plays like that, because a lot of times you'll you'll have a Dragonite, you'll have an energy on them, you'll discard your double dragon to attack, and next turn you'll have a supporter in hand or a Versus Seeker, but you won't have a double dragon energy. So there's going to be times where you want to, like I said, dig for an energy and play a different supporter as well. So that's where Octillery comes into play here. And for the rest of the Pokemon line, we're playing one of these Stardust Jirachi. So 10 damage, discard a special energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon, and if you do, prevent all effects of attacks, including damage, done to this Pokemon on your opponent's next turn. So we're playing Jirachi for a couple different matchups. Dragonite is a bit slower, it is a stage 2, and it doesn't take big one-hit knockouts. You're going to be two-shotting Pokemon most of the time, so you are a little bit slower in your setup. And there's a couple decks like Mega Rayquaza and Yveltal, which are extremely fast and aggressive. Rainbow Road potentially as well, that rely on special energies. But the big thing is going to be for Giratina EX. That card just completely shuts down this deck. So Giratina has that nice attack Chaos Wheel. Well, not so nice if you're playing Dragonite, but generally for the Giratina player, it's a good attack. But it does 100 damage, and it prevents you from playing your special energies. And that's the only way we're really going to be able to attack with Dragonite. So we need a way to strip that Giratina of its energies and potentially buy a turn where they can't use Chaos Wheel against us. So that's where Jirachi comes in handy, but it's good in a variety of different matchups just because special energies are so prevalent. And next up for the Pokemon line, rounding it out, we have one Klefki. So it has that ability Wonderlock. You can turn your Klefki into a tool and attach it to one of your Pokemon, and it's immune from damage from your opponent's Megas on the following turn. So there's a couple situations this is good for. Mega Rayquaza and Mega Gardevoir are going to be the big ones. I think those are probably the most popular Megas that we generally see currently. Mega Rayquaza is just so much faster than Dragonite. Klefki can help you wall against that. Same thing with Mega Gardevoir. It doesn't even have to really set up. All they need is one Gardevoir, and they can just one-shot you. So, yeah, definitely a good card for these different matchups I'm talking about here. And we actually play a thick Super Rod count in this list as well, so we will be able to recycle this Klefki multiple times if need be. So it's really going to help us in these mega matchups. So moving on to our supporter cards. For our main forms of draw support, we have 4N. Each player shuffles their hand in their deck and draws equal to the amount of prize cards they have left. We're maxing this out just because we have so many moving pieces. We have our rare candies, Stage 2 Evolution line, an Octillery. So we don't, well, I shouldn't say we don't want to, but a lot of times with a heavier Sycamore count, on the early turns of the game, you'll find yourself having to discard resources that you really want to hang on to for the next turn or so. So that's why we're favoring a heavier count of N, and then playing 3 Professor Sycamore, discard your hand, and draw 7. So then we're also playing a couple of interesting search cards. We're playing 1 Teammates, so you can only play this if one of your Pokemon was knocked out on your opponent's last turn, but you get to search your deck for any 2 cards and put them into your hand. So this is great because if our opponent takes a quick knockout, we can search for like a rare candy Dragonite or something like that, or any combination of cards that we need to really set up. And since we're playing only non-EXs, we can abuse this card multiple times in a single game. Then the other search card we're going to be playing is 1 Misty's Determination. And this is a card, honestly, I never thought I would ever try to put in a deck. But really, I found that it's pretty strong in this type of deck because every turn we have to have a double dragon energy. And so, unlike Vespiquen variants or other decks that play, just a single attachment of these, I shouldn't say a single attachment, but they play these, low counts of energy, but Vespiquen, for example, keeps its energy when it attacks, so that's why I think you haven't seen this card in other, decks that run just 4 of a special energy and nothing else. But we're playing it in Dragonite because we do discard our energy every turn. So what does it do? You discard a card from your hand. If you do, look at the top 8 cards of your deck, put one of them into your hand. So if you notice, we don't have, well, you'll see in a second, but we don't have any way to actually search Double Dragon out of our deck. The only way we can do that is with Teammates, but there's going to be turns where our opponent doesn't take a knockout on us. And sometimes we don't want to Sycamore our hand away, so that means, Teammates and Sycamore are sometimes not an option. So sometimes Misty's Determination is actually a much stronger card because we can dig through the top 8 cards of our deck to try to hit a Double Dragon energy. So in my testing, it's actually been a really strong card, much better than I thought it would be when I first put it in this list. So we're playing one of that, 2 Lysander, switch your opponent's bench Pokemon with their active. So it just lets us take knockouts on what we want to, and since Dragonite does have to 2-shot Pokemon, our opponent probably will retreat at some point in the game to try to prevent us from taking a knockout. And then 1 Hex Maniac till the end of your opponent's next turn. No Pokemon have abilities, so very good against Greninja. Greninja's going to be, I would say, almost an auto loss for this deck, so you definitely need a way to deal with that. And also Vileplume. You know, Lurantis Vileplume has been seeing a little bit of hype. We'll have to see if that continues to remain true. But if Vileplume variants don't see a lot of play, you might want to consider changing this to a Promo Giratina. That might be a better card, actually. But I'm working under the assumption that people will be playing Lurantis Vileplume. So Hex Maniac will shut off their Vileplume, which allows you to play your rare candies. So that's it for the supporters. Also just 4 versus Seeker, just to reuse all those different supporters we just talked about. 3 Ultra Ball, discard 2 cards from your hand. If you do, search your deck for Pokemon, reveal it, and put it into your hand. So we aren't maxing this out just because Dragonite's actually the only Pokemon in our deck that is not Level Ball searchable. So we're opting for a split between 3 Ultra Ball and then 2 Level Ball to search for Pokemon under 90 hit points. So then 3 Trainer's Mail. Look at the top 4 cards of your deck. Pick a trainer card you find there, put into your hand. So this is good because a lot of times if you Sycamore or N or something like that, you might not hit a rare candy. So Trainer's Mail just helps you dig for the extra piece that you need to, get out your Dragonites. 2 Super Odds, so shuffle 3 Pokemon or basic energy from your discard into your deck. So Dragonites are only attacker. A lot of times 4 Dragonite won't go the distance. We're going to have to get back pieces of this this evolution line. Same thing if we go against the Giratina deck. We want to be able to recycle our Jirachis and our few basic energies that we do run, and also that Klefki I mentioned as well. 2 Special Charge. Shuffle 2 special energies from your discard back into your deck. So really our only way of attacking is 4 double dragon energies. So between those and these 2 special charge, you'll be able to attack 8 times with Dragonite in the course of a game. So usually that will allow you enough energy to close out a game. But yeah, just the 1 special charge is not going to cut it. You definitely want at least 2 in this deck, or a heavier basic energy count as well. So 4 Rare Candy, of course, the best card in the list, as you know. So we basically get to skip the middle evolution and go straight from Dratini up to Dragonite. So it just helps us get out our Dragonites a lot quicker. 2 Max Potions. So this is actually a really cool card in this list because not only is Dragonite a great attacker against, for example, Yveltal EX. So Yveltal right now as of filming is a very popular card, though it has been declining in play. They do more damage, equal to the amount of energy on both active Pokemon. Mega Mewtwo is the same way, so Dragonite's great against that, or both these different popular cards, because you don't have any energy on you when they attack into you. So not only that, but after we discard our energy, before we attach another one for the turn, we can max potion off any damage that our opponent does to us, since we only have energy whenever we attack. So Max Potion, just a very strong card, I think, against decks that can't one-hit KO you. Just especially in Dragonite, because normally you discard all of your energy, but with Dragonite, you're never going to have, or usually never going to have energy on you to discard until right before you attack. Okay, then we also have 2 Parallel City. So it's one of these dual effect cards. Has a different effect depending on the way that it's facing. So whoever the blue side is facing can only have 3 bench Pokemon, and whoever the red side is facing, the damage of grass, fire, and water Pokemon is reduced by 20. So this is good. I mean, both of the effects are good against several matchups. Greninja is popular, so you can reduce its damage that way. Volcanian's popular, you can reduce its damage. Grass looks to be very popular after Sun and Moon, so you can reduce damage of those Pokemon. Only having 3 bench spots is very annoying, especially against a deck like Mega Rayquaza that can typically have a strong matchup against this Dragonite deck. So just a solid stadium. Honestly, I'm not sold on this as the stadium. Dragonite really doesn't particularly benefit from any one stadium card. So Silent Lab or maybe Faded Town could also be considerations as well. I don't know. So play around with the stadium, but right now I think Perilous City is probably the strongest one that I've tested so far. So we're going to leave it at that for now. And rounding out our trainer cards, we're going to have 2 Floatstone. So it's a tool card, and it gives free retreat to whoever it's attached to. So we want these on our Octilleries ideally, but also we can put them on our Dragonites too, just in case we do want to retreat maybe into a Jirachi or something like that instead. And then just to close out the list, we have 2 basic grass energy, just to potentially use Dratini's attack or attack with Jirachi if need be, and 4 double dragon energy. So like I said, this is the main way we are going to be attacking. It can only be attached to dragon Pokemon, but provides 2 of any energy, which is great because Dragonite otherwise has a kind of annoying attack cost. So yeah guys, that is going to be the list we're going to try out here. I'm going to switch over to the battle portion of the video, that way you can see how this looks in action. Alright guys, so it looks like we got ourselves a game here. And we see a Zygarde deck box, so maybe we're going to get some sort of fighting deck here. But he has like a Mega Ray coin, so I don't know if we can really use this as good context clues to guess what he's playing. If this is Mega Ray, we are going to be in some trouble though, I will say that. And I'm assuming our opponent is going to want to go first. I'm assuming, just waiting to see what they want to do here. And okay, yep, so it looks like they are going to choose to go first. And we do mulligan, which is unfortunate. You never want to give your opponent extra cards since they are going first. But we run a decent amount of basics. We should get one soon. And we get another mulligan. Okay, so not starting off this game well at all. But we do get a Remoraid, and oh, that is going to be an ugly hand to Sycamore away, I think. Well, it's mainly just the Super Rod that I wouldn't want to discard. But everything else we could probably be okay to get rid of, so we'll see what happens. And it looks like our opponent's playing a Talonflame Garchomp deck, so that'll be a little bit interesting here. On paper, I think we might have the advantage just because our Dragonites can one-shot their Talonflames and Garchomps, but if Garchomp gets enough energy on it, it can actually one-shot our Dragonites as well. So we'll just have to see how this goes. And here you hit Trainer's Mail off of our top deck for the turn. We could grab Misty's Determination, but honestly, I just rather Sycamore here and be able to set up as many Dratinis as possible. If we got a Dratini. Oh my god. This has not been a good opening. We just have to pass. So we can get an Ultra Ball or a Level Ball or a way to get any of those. And here, luckily, our opponent did not have Rare Candy Garchomp, otherwise we would have lost. And here, this is going to be like the worst Sycamore I think I've ever seen. Because we have to. Like, we have to Sycamore, otherwise we just lose, I think. So we're going to have to Sycamore away 2 Dragonairs, a Rare Candy, a Special Charge, and another Verse Seeker. Like, there's literally not one card in this hand I wanted to get rid of. Oh, thank God. We do at least get a Level Ball, so we will be able to get ourselves a Dratini or potentially an Octillery as well. Okay, so it looks like we're eyeing down the Octillery here. But luckily we can lower our hand size a little bit to use Abyssal Hand later in the turn. Okay, so here we're going to evolve into Octillery. Probably should have taken a look through our deck while we were in there. Didn't think about it too much. We're going to get rid of Jirachi and Sycamore since we can get both of those back if we choose to. So here we're eyeing down Dratini. Yeah, and here I just decided to take a look through our deck just to see everything that's in there. So we do have a double Dragon Energy prized, which is slightly annoying. But, you know, we'll try to make it work. So you're going to put a Floatstone. And here we're going to Super Rod the 2 Dragonairs and Jirachi back into the deck. And, oh god, okay. Oh man, this is like the worst start for this deck. This is, like, I know we're playing a Stage 2 deck, so it's usually a little less consistent, but this is like absolutely horrible here. So here I opted to save the Jirachi and Klefki just because the Jirachi can kind of come down unexpectedly, and we don't really want to give our opponent the potential to play around it. So Jirachi's kind of best when you can play it down out of nowhere and use it to start its attack. Oh, and luckily our opponent did not have a Lysander to take out our Dratini. That would have been annoying. It is a little unfortunate this Octillery is probably going to go down this turn, but you know, better Octillery than our Dratini. But this is the turn I think we really need to make something happen. You know, we will be able to rare candy Dragonite if need be. Okay, cool. We do top deck another Dratini, which is good. Probably bench that Klefki, use Wonderlock. It really is pretty irrelevant in this matchup, so it doesn't hurt anything just to go ahead and attach it like that. And we could use Teammates here, but we would still be one card short of completing the combo, so I think we just have to go for Sycamore. And we whiff. I mean, we do get Rare Candy Dragonite, don't get me wrong here. But we whiffed the double Dragon Energy that we needed to take a knockout here. But here we'll at least evolve into our Dragonite, and probably just retreat. Okay, it looks like I'm thinking about giving up the Jirachi, and honestly I kind of like that. Even though our opponent does play special energies that we could use Stardust on, Dragonite can just knock out Garchomp in one hit regardless, so I don't mind sacrificing our Jirachi here. Here we're going to see a Turbo Assault, and our opponent did get a Burst Balloon down on his Garchomp as well, and that's going to be really important because that's going to allow him to effectively one-shot us. Because we'll take 6 damage counters, and then a Bite Off from another Garchomp can actually finish us off if he has a strong energy. So here we're going to use Abyssal Hand, draw until we have 5, and awesome, we do get our double Dragon Energy, and we get another rare candy, so we're starting to pick up steam, and finally kind of stabilize a little bit here. So we're just going to end our opponent, and not much else we can really do this turn, but I'm content with our hand. We have Lysander, that's good. We have Misty's Determination, that's good too, so we can potentially draw into what we need for next turn. Okay, so our opponent's going to level ball. Do they get... Oh, they get Gabites. That means we can actually Lysander up this Gabite on the next turn and take another knockout. Oh, well, there goes that idea. So we see a Burst Balloon, Gabite, and a Wally. And thankfully our opponent they did not have a strong energy to knock us out. So here we definitely have an opportunity to pull off some shenanigans. If we get a Max Potion, because I think we still have the other one left in the deck, we can heal off all this damage. Our opponents work so hard to put on this Dragonite and just heal. So there we do see the other Max Potion is in the deck. So what we do here, Misty's Determination. I like that. We can get rid of probably... that's a tough one, because we really want to keep both of these, but I think we'll be okay to discard Dragonite. I know he's our only attacker, but I feel like our prize exchange is going to be so good we won't need to use all 4 in this game. Our biggest concern is just running out of energy, but luckily we got an energy off of our prizes, since we did have to discard a special charge very early on. And last turn, I was going to say we could have Lysander, but no, we used Misty's Determination. So here I think we're actually in a good spot, because our opponent's going to have to bench multiple Gibbles here. Oh, but he just Aero Blitzes, so that means all we have to do is attach a double Dragon Energy, and we can actually knock out this Talonflame for the game here. Ah, dang, it's so unfortunate for our opponent there, but we did get the double Dragon Energy off our prizes to take the final knockout here. And our opponent does get a prize in the process. We'll at least let them get a knockout. Nice. So Dragonite, after like a pretty horrible start, we had to Sycamore away so much stuff. We Sycamored away rare candies, all of our Dragonairs, Max Potions, Special Charge, all sorts of stuff. But even despite that, our opponent whiffed a turn to get down another basic, and it did allow us an opening to come back and win that one. So yeah, guys, that's going to be a little look at Dragonite. Like I said, one of my favorite cards in the set. I don't think it's one of the best cards, but it's definitely one of my personal favorites. I always love rare candy based decks and stage 2 decks, and you know, playing like more slower setup based decks like this. But anyways, guys, as usual, feel free to like and subscribe, and don't forget to check out our merch over at rarecandytcg.com. If you can pick up something to help support the channel, that would mean a lot to us. But with that, I appreciate you watching, and we'll see you for the next one.